No, I was driving over to the next town, over to the gun show. I like going to gun shows, and I was looking for a little something different for my wife, and I came across this 100,000 volt pocket purse-side taser. And the effects of the taser were supposed to be short-lived, so with no, long-term adverse effect on your assailant, just supposed to give you enough time to run away, right? And way too cool. So, long story short, I bought the device and I brought it home, and I loaded in 2 AAA batteries into the damn thing, and I pushed the button and nothing. Well, it's kind of disappointed, but then I learned that if I pushed the button and I pressed it against a metal surface at the same time, then I'd get this blue arc of electricity shooting back and forth between the prongs. Awesome. Of course, I'm yet to explain to my wife what that burnt spot is on the front of her microwave, but okay. So I was home alone with this new toy, and I was thinking to myself, shit, this thing can't be that bad, can it? I mean, shit's only got 2 AAA batteries. How strong can that be? So I'm sitting there in my recliner.
Doesn't last very long either.
My cat Leo looking intently, a little trusting bastard, and I'm reading the directions, and I'm thinking that, I really should try this thing out on some flesh and blood moving target. And I got to admit, I thought about zapping Leo for a fraction of a second, and then I thought better of it. He's such a sweet cat, but if I'm gonna give this thing to my wife to protect herself against a mugger, I would like some assurances that it's gonna work like advertised. Right? Am I wrong?
No, you're right, but I know what you're gonna do, you idiot.
Exactly. So there I am sitting there in my boxers with my reading glasses perched delicately on the bridge of my nose, and the directions in one hand, and the taser in the other hand, and the directions said, 1 second burst would shock and disorient your assailant. A 2 second burst was supposed to cause muscle spasms and a major loss of bodily control. And a 3 second burst would purportedly make your assailant flop around on the ground like a fish out of water. So any burst longer than 3 seconds is just, it's just wasting batteries. So all the while I'm looking at this little device, and it's like 5 inches long and about half an inch thick, right? It's got 2 little bitty AAA batteries in it. I mean, it's pretty cute, really. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way. So what happens next is almost beyond description, but I'll do my best. I'm standing there alone, and the cat's looking on with his head cocked to one side, kind of like saying, don't do it, stupid. And reasoning that a 1 second burst from such a tiny little thing as this cannot possibly hurt that bad. So I decided that I'd give myself a 1 second burst, just for the hell of it. So I touched the prongs to my naked thigh, and I pushed the button, and holy mother of God, weapons of mass destruction, what the hell? I'm pretty sure that Hulk Hogan ran in through one side of the door and picked me up off the recliner, body slamming a few times on the carpet over and over and over again. I mean, I vaguely recall waking up on my side in a fetal position with tears in my eyes and my body soaking wet. Both my nipples were on fire and my testicles were nowhere to be found. My left arms tucked under my body in the weirdest damn position and tingling in my legs. And the cat was meowing sounds I have never heard before.
The cat was laughing
above the fireplace, obviously in an attempt to avoid getting slammed by my body flopping all over the living room. Note to myself, if you ever feel compelled to mug yourself with a taser, One word of caution, okay? There is no such thing as a 1 second burst when you zap yourself. You won't let go of that fucking thing until it's dislodged from your hand by a violent thrashing around on the floor. And a 3 second burst would be considered conservative.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I bet a minute or so later, I can't be sure because time's sort of a relative thing at that point, but I collected my wits, what little bit I had left, and I sat up and I looked around and surveyed the room. My bent reading glasses were on top of the TV. The recliner was upside down about 8 feet or so from where it originally was. My triceps, right thigh and both nipples were still twitching. My face felt like it had been shot up with Novocaine, and my bottom lip weighed about 88 pounds. And I had no control over drooling. Apparently, I shit my shorts, but I was too numb to know for sure, and my sense of smell was gone. So I saw a faint smoke cloud coming over my head. I think that was from my hair. I'm still looking for my testicles, and I am offering a significant reward for their safe return. And my wife can't stop laughing about it. She loved the gift, and she threatens me regularly with it.
Ah, that was great. Money. Yay! Yay! Great delivery, Money.
And this is about my buddies, of course, Thibodeau and Boudreaux, because they're my best buds, and they always got something going on.
Thibodeau.
But this one is about Thibaut, which is Thibodeau's little boy, and in one of his days at school. So he had this pretty young school teacher, and she was really concerned about one of her 11-year-old students, Thibaut. We call him T-Bob, but Thibaut with Thibodeau. Taking him aside after class one day, she asked him, T, why is your schoolwork been so poor lately? Man, I can't concentrate, teacher, replied T-Boy. I don't fell in love. Oh, says the teacher, is that so? Holding back an urge to smile. And with whom did you fall in love with? With you, T-Boy answered.
Oh.
So the teacher, smiling again under her breath because, she's flattered. Don't you see how silly that is? It's true that I would like a husband of my own someday, but I don't want no child. T-Boot is just a little child. So T-Boot said, oh, don't worry, teacher. I'm going to be really careful.
We're going to use prophylactics, teach.
One down. Alright, I don't say many jokes, so it's time for Randy to get up here. So
Yay,
come on up, Randy.
Randy!
All right, I'm coming.
Come and make us laugh.
Let's see. How should I get started here? I always ask Nick. Yeah, I always ask Nick. Because I am the worst comic in Second Life because I never know what I'm doing. I got papers all over the place.
Show us your boobs.
You want to see some boobs?
No.
Yeah, I could do that.
No,
I could do that after the show. As long as we got enough Lindens. Yeah, we could do that.
No. You had beads for showing your boobs. Come on.
I did the redneck. Put fireman's hats on the 3 wise men in his nativity scene because the preacher said they came from afar. I said, you know what? I apologize for that. I said that one last time. I'm all fucked. I don't feel good. I'll tell you right now. I just don't feel good. I'm trying to do my best. I did the redneck computer terms. Let's see. Here's one I might be able to try to do some voices on if you want to hear this one. Maybe. Let's see.
Yeah, you do good voices.
Well, I reckon I'll give it a try.
Okay.
Say,
I reckon.
An Irishman named O'Malley went to his doctor after a long illness. Now, if you recognize this joke, and I've told it before, stop me before you go too far. The doctor, after a lengthy examination, sighed and looked at O'Malley in the eye and said, "I've got bad news for you. You've got cancer, and it can't be cured. I'll give you 2 weeks to a month to still be alive." O'Malley was shocked and saddened by the news, but of solid character, he managed to compose himself and walked from the doctor's office into the waiting room. There he saw his son, who had taken waiting. O'Malley said, "Well, son, we always celebrate when things are good, and we celebrate when things don't go so well. In this case, things aren't so well. I have cancer, and I've been given a short time to live. Let's head for the pub and have a few pints." Well, after 3 or 4 pints, the two were feeling a little less somber, and they were having some laughs and more beers, and they're eventually approached by some of O'Malley's old friends who asked what the two were celebrating. O'Malley told them that the Irish celebrate the good and the bad. He went on to tell them that they were drinking to his impending end, and he told his friends, "I've only got a few weeks to live, and as I've been diagnosed with AIDS." The friends gave O'Malley their condolences, and they had a couple more beers. After his friends left, O'Malley's son leaned over and whispered his confusion. "Dad, I thought you said you were dying from cancer. You just told your friends you were dying from AIDS." O'Malley said, "Oh, I'm dying of cancer, son. I just don't want any of them sleeping with your mother after I'm gone."
Ow.
I told that one last time. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. I truly am ashamed. I can't keep track. I just can't keep track. I can't keep track anymore. My head is swimming. Okay. Drunken wisdom. Wait, no. Drinking wisdom. And us Redskins and Firewater don't mix, go crazy. We start fighting back, so all right. The hard part about being a bartender is figuring out who is drunk and who is just stupid.
That's funny.
And once upon a time, Henny Youngman said, "When I read about the evils of drinking, I gave up reading."
Yep.
Now, in the bowling alley of tomorrow, there will even be machines that wear rental shoes and throw the ball for you. Your sole function will be there to be drinking beer.
Sounds like my type of bowling.
Yeah, we've done that.
There's
Oh
a
yeah.
bowling alley.
We used to take the little whiskey bottles and refill them and put them in our coat pockets in the winter. And then they could never understand, how could they get so fucked up over one drink? But we just kept filling them up. All right. This is from George Burns. "Actually, it only takes one drink to get me loaded. Trouble is, I can't remember if it's the 13th or 14th.
That's a pretty good impersonation of Mr. Burns.
Now, he's a tough one to do because he's not really that growly, but I winged it. Okay, I do that all the time.
But later in life, he was pretty growly. I mean,
Yeah, well, it was the cigars, It was the
Yeah, it's all them
cigars.
cigars.
Like Groucho Marx says, of course I love my cigars, but I do take it out of my mouth once in a while, Do not ever allow children to mix drinks. It is unseemly, and they always use too much vermouth. That was Steve Allen who said that. I told these last time, but they're still working, so I'll do them. "An intelligent man is sometimes forced to be drunk to spend time with fools." Ernest Hemingway.
Oh,
Yeah, Ernest Hemingway. I don't even know what he sounds like, Ernest Hemingway. I can only imagine what he would sound like. John Mooney, I never heard of him before, but he said, if your doctor warns you that you have to watch your drinking, well, then find a bar with a mirror. Phil Harris. Now, if you know Phil Harris, he did Baloo the Bear. Well, it's the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. You remember Phil Harris? Right, he said, I can't die until the government finds a safe place to bury my liver. And then there's unknown. Everybody should believe in something. I believe I'll have another drink. That, I think, should have been attributed to James Bond. Mr. Bond. Whenever someone asks me if I want water with my scotch, I say, I'm thirsty, not dirty. Oh, I told the stewardess liquor for $3. Well, who are the other two? Oh, there are no other two. That was James Bond. All right. Those, enough of those. All right. Male anatomy. You want to go on to male anatomy? You want me to go on to more?
Yeah, that's always funny.
Yeah, okay.
Got the balls for it.
All right.
Sorry.
Hello.
Sorry.
Male anatomy. What's the problem with oral sex? The view.
The view. Ah.
Alone or with somebody?
Flop. Blacky, you see how I flopped? Yeah, if you told that, it would have. One morning, a milkman called on one of his regular customers, supposed to see a white bed sheet with a hole in the middle hanging up in a living room. Housewife explained that she'd had a party the night before. They played a game called Who's Who, in which each of the men put their equipment through the hole and women tried to guess their identity. Gee, that sounds like fun, said the milkman. Sure wish I'd have been there. You should have been, said the housewife. Your name came up 5 times.
I get it.
Ah, those are the good old days. Sure enough. Okay. All right. A man with a 2-inch prick walks into a whorehouse, drops his pants in front of one of the girls who says, just who do you think you're going to please with that little thing? And the man says, me.
Okay.
What did the flasher say to the woman in sub-zero temperature? Oh, it's so cold, maybe I should just describe myself. I told these before, and I'm bombing. Oh, this is terrible. All right. A man walks into his doctor's office and gives him a form to fill out and asks him what his problem is. Says, I've got something wrong with my dick. Oh, please, told the receptionist. There are women and children in the waiting room. Good-bathed patient leaves the office. Says to the receptionist, I've got a problem with my ear. Now, that's much better, says the receptionist. What's wrong with it? I can't piss out of it. I'm failing again. Another night of failure, folks. Okay. This is my own. The newlyweds. Oh, hey, does anybody remember
I do.
Hutch?
It was back in the 60s, but I remember most
Yeah,
of it.
the Hutch. Remember, they used to do the silhouette of Hutch. I can't remember
Alfred
his
Hitchcock.
fucking name because my brain is going. Alfred Hitchcock.
Alfred Hitchcock.
All right, I am going to do Alfred Hitchcock for you. The newlyweds were undressing in their honeymoon suite on the wedding night. The new husband was a big bruiser of a tossed his pants over to his wife and said, "Here, put these on." Puzzled, he pulled them on and said, "These would fit two of me. I can't wear these pants." "That's right," said the doctor. "Don't you forget it. I'm the one who wears the pants in this family." And with that, the wife threw her pants over to the side of the bed and said, "Try these on." Finally, he came up as far as his knee. "Yeah, I can't even get into your pants." "That's right," she said. "And that's the way it's going to be until your goddamn attitude changes."
I get it.
And now a word from our sponsor. Remember when he used to say that? Remember Black and White Alfred Hitchcock on TV? And now a
Half-hour
word
TV shows.
And
Of course.
in part of doing the voice, you have to stick your bottom lip out, as he did. He always had his bottom lip sticking out, and to this day they made a statue of him in England, and it looks like Buddha. Yes, it's true.
Didn't you hear the story about Alfred Hitchcock? And what was that girl's name that was in The Birds? Tippi Hedren. Okay, you remember that, the movie The Birds?
He could.
She's in that phone booth and all the birds are flying into her and everything.
Yep.
Well, Alfred Hitchcock got the hots for her, and he put the moves on her, and she rebuffed him, and he went out of his way to make sure that she never got a job again.
Man, that's fucked up.
That's Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
He was. He
Yep.
was.
I never knew that.
Yeah, he was the best part of a man. He was, right, But you know what? I can't blame him for having the hots for Tippi Hedren. I mean,
Well, yeah, who wouldn't, right?
yeah, God, yeah. Oh
Don't
my
remember what she
God.
looks like, but
Well, she's going.
The question is, would you have the hots for Alfred Hitchcock?
And now a word from our
Did you do a little
sponsors.
shiver?
Oh God.
yeah, that's a big fat silence on that one.
10 reasons why it's better to be a man. When clicking through television channels, you don't have to stall on every shot of someone crying. 2. Guys in hockey masks do not attempt to attack you. If you're 34 and single, nobody notices.
Oh yeah.
Number 4, flowers fix everything. Thank you, Tippi. Yes. Number 5, you never have to worry about other people's feelings. And number 6, if you retain water, it's in a canteen. And this one is rather mean. I don't do it myself, but Ron Ford has done it several times. You think the idea of punting a small cat over a fence is funny. John Ford was very good at that, yes, indeed. If something mechanical doesn't work, you can bash it with a hammer and throw it across the room. Usually it will retain its composure and start to work again. And there goes the robots too as well. I hope you're listening, all you science fiction writers out there. Bachelor parties beat the shit over bridal showers any day of the week. That's for sure. And also the last one, the best one, and a word to our sponsors. Please turn away for this one. All of your orgasms. My wife told me to stop impersonating a flamingo. Well, I had to put my foot down.
Oh, man.
I get
And,
it.
she sent me to the store to find some cameo pants, but unfortunately I couldn't find them.
They all are.
I failed math so many times at school, I can't even count. I'm telling you what, Oh, man. That's the way it goes, you know, especially in New York City. I used to have a handle on life, but then it broke.
Aww.
I was wondering why the frisbee kept getting bigger and bigger, but then it hit me. Oh, listen, hey, wait, don't crap or fart over there. We're gonna need Blacky Zapper to get your sense of smell going. All right. I heard there was a bunch of break-ins over at the car park. Oh, that is wrong on so many levels. You know, I want to die peacefully in my sleep, like my grandfather, not screaming and yelling like the passengers in his car. Don't you hate it when someone answers their own questions? I do.
I get it.
Well, I'll tell you what, it takes a lot of balls to golf the way I do. Okay, I'll tell you what. Oh, get a load of that hat. I mean, that hat is ugly. It looks like if you buy that hat, you get a free bowl of soup. He turns around, he looks at Ted Knight, and he goes, but on you it looks good. You remember that scene? Oh, that was freaking awesome. But on you it looks good. Oh. Hey, Wang, come on, it's a parking lot. What are you doing taking pictures? Let's go. Come on. You remember that from Caddyshack? Oh, God, I love that movie. Let's see. I know they say that money talks. Well, all mine ever says is goodbye.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Mine doesn't even have the courtesy to say goodbye. It just fucking leaves.
Fucking gone.
Yep.
Son of a bitch.
Well, in merry old England, the problem with kleptomaniacs is that they always take things literally. I can't believe I got fired from the calendar factory. All I did was take a day off.
Hopefully it was Monday. Jeez.
Monday for you.
Right?
Well, yeah, I get problems, like everybody else. I got a job. Most people are shocked when they find out how bad I am as an electrician.
I get it.
Oh, I tell you, what an audience. What an audience. You're easy mark out there. I'm coming back again, definitely. All right, this is easy. Okay. Never trust atoms. They make up everything. I was addicted to the hokey pokey, but then I turned myself around. I'm waiting for Nick to cut me off, but I used to think I was indecisive, but now I'm just not so sure. The Russian dolls, they're so full of themselves. This one, let's see, I don't even understand this one. This should probably be my last one because I'm dying here. The easiest time to add insult to injury is when you're signing someone's cast. You could write, "Fuck you asshole" on the side they can't see.
Alright. Yay, Randy, applause. And I got a couple more Boudreaux jokes.
Boudreaux.
And then we're going to call on volunteers. So anybody out there has a joke to tell, be thinking about it now.
Get me a book of blonde jokes. I think I should do that.
Alright, this is Boudreaux and Thibodeau. They was walking through the woods one day, the other day. Oh, fuck that one up. All right. Boudreaux
Start
and
over. That's all.
Thibodeau was walking through the woods the other day when a flying saucer landed near them in the woods over the trees. A door opened and two little green aliens climbed out and down out of the craft. Thibodeau turned to Boudreaux and said, "Man, look at that. What you think that is?" Boudreaux, aiming his shotgun at the little critters, replied, "Thibodeau, I don't know what they is, but you go back to the camp, put on the right spot, and start the route. Because we grown asses eat anything.
You're gonna eat them? Hell
So
yeah.
eat them boys."
Hell yeah. That's a good one. I like that one.
I like those Boudreaux and Thibodeau jokes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, there's tons of them. There's tons of them. So many of them, I can't decide which one to do next. All right. Well, Boudreaux went to the doctor yesterday. And he returned from the doctor, and he tells his wife, said, "The doctor had told me I got 24 hours to live." Given the prognosis, Boudreaux asks his wife for sex. Naturally, she agrees, so they make love.
All right.
After about 6 hours, the husband goes to the wife and he says, "Honey, you know I have now only about 18 hours left to live. Could we please do it one more time?" Of course, the wife, Marie, agrees and they do it again.
I like her.
Later, as Boudreaux gets into bed, he looks at his watch and he realizes he only got about 8 hours left. He touches his wife's shoulder and he asks, "Honey, please, just one more time before I die." So she said, "Of course, dear." And they make love for the third time that night. After this session done, the wife rolls over and she falls straight asleep. Boudreaux, however, worried about his impending death, tosses and turns until he's down to about 4 hours. He taps his wife on the shoulder. "Honey, I have only 4 hours to go. Do you think we could?" Now at this point, Marie, she sits up and said, "Listen, Boudreaux, enough is enough. I have to get up in the morning. You don't." Everybody welcome Wyatt to the stage. Come on, Wyvern.
Well, my friend Jack woke up on January 1st, 2021, glanced over at his wife Edna, and was shocked to see she looked all pixelated. Now, I think he might have been in Second Life too long, but anyway, he said, "Oh my fucking God." And he looked confused, and he said, "What happened to you last night?" And seeing his expression, Edna reached over to give him a hug and said, "Oh, don't worry, honey. This is just my New Year's resolution."
Hello.
Oh, jeez. That's definitely a second life joke.
I was in the library one day when a black friend of mine came in and asked if I knew where the color printer was, and I said, "Buddy, it's 2022. You can use any printer you want." Courts still use the term vehicular manslaughter. It's 2021. Shouldn't we call it vehicular human slaughter? It's time for women to finally break through the glass windshield, don't you think, girls?
I agree.
Guy dies. He goes to heaven. He arrives at the pearly gates and he sees two signs. The first sign says, "Men who control are controlled by their wives." The old man looks and he sees that this line is about 10 miles long. So the old man looks at the second sign and it says, "Men who were not controlled by their wives." And there's just one guy in this line. And slowly the old man walks over to that guy and he says, "Hey, tell me, why are you standing over here?" And the guy looks at him and he says, "I don't know. I think my wife told me to." I used to be a telemarketer. I phoned one of my usual numbers and a little boy answered the phone. I said, "Are your parents home, young man?" And I hear him drop the phone, burst into tears, and I wait a few seconds so somebody else picks up the phone, and this elderly voice at the end of the line says, barking really mean back at me. For the last time, this is an orphanage. Please stop calling.
That's another ouch joke.
The three priests gathered together for a drink. During their get-together, the host asked the other two, how do you split your money with the Lord? Well, one guy says, I draw a line on the floor in my church, and then I throw the money in the air, and whatever's on my side, I get to keep. Whatever falls on his side, he keeps it. The second one says, well, I draw a circle. Then I throw the money in the air, and whatever falls inside the circle is mine, and whatever falls outside the circle is the Lord's. How do you split your money? They both asked the holy priest, the host priest of this party. He says, well, I just throw the money in the air, and he keeps whatever he wants.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I need to start doing with my husband, yeah. You know what? Gonorrhea would have been a great name for diarrhea medicine. Gonorrhea. Yeah, it's okay if your phone autocorrects fuck to duck because you're still using foul language. I have a boss, he hates it when I shorten his name to Dick, especially because his name's Steve.
What about his other brother, Steve?
That's like Mike Hunt.
I've just watched a documentary on marijuana. I think all documentaries are made to be more enjoyable when they're watched that way. Don't you?
I agree.
Most on TV, especially.
Well, Randy, did you hear about that guy that dipped his testicles in glitter? Pretty nuts. That's a hint, Randy. You can get some glitter. All right, my stoner friend used my daily agenda notebook to roll a joint. Now he's high on my list of priorities.
Yeah, where do you find these? These are awesome.
I hate all the people who knock on your freaking door and say you need to get out or you're going to burn. You know, the stupid fucking firemen. I hate them.
Yeah, they're always telling people what to do.
My son's now at the age where he's curious about the human body. I guess I'm going to have to hide it somewhere else now. Jesus Christ. I told Randy that when two people have sex, it's called a twosome. When three have sex, it's a threesome. And now I know, Randy, why they call you handsome.
Ouch, burn.
He's rather handy around.
I love you, Randy. You know I love you. All right. I got a friend. I got a friend who's obsessed with taking blurry pictures of himself while he's in the shower. He's got a serious selfie steam issue. Selfie steam issue, buddy.
Self-esteem.
Yeah. So I saw my husband the other night, kind of drunk. He's yelling at the TV set. Don't go in there. Don't go in the church. God damn it, you fucking moron. Yeah, then I realized he's watching our wedding video again.
At least he didn't record the football game over it.
He probably has by now. Hey, where do you take somebody who's been injured in a peekaboo accident? I see you! Peekaboo, I see you!
Makes sense.
All right, this COVID-19 situation has been especially stressful for the Flat Earth Society. They fear the social distancing measures could push people over the edge. However, they are excited about flattening that curve. All right, due to the quarantine, I'm only going to be telling inside jokes, people. I just want you to know that. I went to my doctor today. I told him I've been having some problems with my hearing. And he asked me, could you describe the symptoms? And I said, yeah, they're yellow. Homer's kind of fat, and Marge has blue hair. My husband sent me this really heartwarming text message, and it said, if you're sleeping, send me your dreams. If you're laughing, send me your smile. If you're eating, send me a bite. If you're drinking, send me a sip. If you're crying, send me your tears. I love you. And I replied back, I'm on the toilet, please advise.
I love you too.
I just saw 10 ants running frantically around my kitchen counter. I felt really bad, so I built them a small house. Now I'm their landlord, and I collect the rent from my 10 ants.
And
I asked this officer, are you crying while you're writing me this ticket? And he said, it's a moving violation. Yeah, this friend of mine asked me if I wanted to hear a really good Batman impression, so I said, sure, go ahead. And he shouted out, not the kryptonite, not the kryptonite. I said, well, that's Superman. He said, thanks, man, I've been practicing a whole bunch. I took my 6-year-old kid, my little toddler, to the office over on Take Your Kid to Work Day. Oh, boy. As we're walking around, she started crying, getting cranky, and I asked her, what's wrong? And just as all my coworkers are gathering around, she sobbed, Mommy, where's all the clowns you said you work with? And fucking eBay, it's so fucking useless. I tried to look up lighters. All they had was 13,749 matches in there. This cop told me he was going to arrest me for downloading the entire Wikipedia, and I said, wait, I could explain everything. I made this playlist for my iPod to listen while hiking. I love to hike. So it's got music from Peanuts, the Cranberries, and Eminem. I call it my trail mix. One of the USSR's bread lines during the, I don't know how you say it, perestroika, a man in the crowd's mumbling, no bread, no milk, no meat. What a shame. Well, 2 policemen walking the beat, hearing his mumbling, walk up and they say, comrade, if you say that 40 years ago, you'd be shot, so just shut up and stand in line like everybody else. As the policemen leave, the man turns back to the crowd and says, not only though we don't have bread nor milk, I was just told that we ran out of bullets, too. Yay!
Dos Vidonio, comrade.
This Irish priest was transferred to Texas. Father O'Malley rose from his bed one morning. It was a fine spring day in his new West Texas mission parish. He walked to the window of his bedroom to get a deep breath of the beautiful day outside, and he then noticed there's a jackass lying dead in the middle of his front yard. He promptly called the local police station. The conversation went like this. Good morning. Is this Sergeant Jones? May I help you? And the best of the day to yourself. This is Father O'Malley at St. Anne's Catholic Church. There's this jackass laying dead in me front lawn. Would you be so kind as to send a couple of your lads to take care of the matter? And Sergeant Jones, considering himself to be quite a wit, recognizing the foreign accent, thought he'd have a little fun with the good father. And he said, well, now, Father, it was always my impression you people took care of all the last rites. There was a dead silence for just a minute, and then Father O'Malley said, aye, that's certainly true, but we're also obliged to notify the next of kin first, which is the reason for me call. All right, NASA engineers built a cannon that launches dead chickens at the windshields of airplanes, military jets, and stuff like that to test the strength of the windshield against collisions with airborne fowl. British engineers are eager to test it on the windshields of their new high-speed trains. So arrangements are made and a cannon is sent to the British engineers. Well, when the cannon goes off, the engineers stand shocked as the chicken crashes into the shatterproof shield, smashes it to smithereens, blasts through the control console, snaps the pilot's backrest in two, and embeds itself in the back wall of the cabin. The horrified Brits send the Americans a report of a disastrous results, along with an urgent request for suggestions to improve the windshield design. While the American engineers say, thaw the chicken.
Yeah, definitely.
After contacting a lot of people he worked with in the past, he's finally able to land a job in a popular new Broadway play. The director tells him it's only one line. It's at the very beginning of the play, but it's a really important line. It sets the mood for the whole rest of the play. It's essential that he nails this line. So the old actor emphasizes he will nail it. He will. And the director reluctantly agrees and proceeds to tell him the role. He says, you're going to take this beautiful rose, bring it to your nose, take a deep breath, and say the following line. Ah, the sweet scent of my mistress. That's it. Now don't screw it up. And the old actor thanks him 10 times over, proceeds to practice for the next 2 weeks non-stop. Opening night comes. It's sold out. The whole theater's full. He takes to the stage, spotlights right on him. He raises his hand, takes a deep breath, and says the line perfectly. Ah, the sweet scent of my mistress. Just after the line's delivered, the auditorium bursts into laughter. He walks off the stage all distraught. I don't get it. I nailed that line perfectly. What happened? The director looks at him and says, you fucking idiot, you forgot the flower. A preacher says, anyone with special requests who wants to be prayed over, please come forward to the front by the altar. And with that, Leroy got in line. And when it was his turn, the preacher said, Leroy, what do you want me to pray about for you? And Leroy said, Preacher, I need you to pray for help with my hearing. And the preacher put one finger of one hand in Leroy's ear and placed his other hand on top of Leroy's head. And then he prayed and prayed and prayed, and he prayed a blue streak for Leroy, and the whole congregation joined in with great enthusiasm. And after a few minutes, the preacher removed his hands, stood back, and said, Leroy, how is your hearing now? And Leroy said, I don't know, it ain't till next week. And my last for the night, 2 men walk out of a bar. Both are drunk and ready to fight. One draws a line in the dirt and says to the other man, if you cross this line, I'll punch you. And that was the punchline.
That's it.
That was the punch. Oh, I get it.
Hey, Why? Big hand for why.
That's it. That was why.
Yeah.
All right,
That was
ladies and
awesome.
gentlemen, Is anybody, this is time for open mic. If anybody wants to come up here and tell a few jokes, now's the time. The stage is yours. Going once? Going twice? Okay. All right, let's call it a night. And thank you, everybody, for coming. And I hope y'all had a wonderful time.